At the PyeongChang Olympics, there's nothing bigger than short track. GANGNEUNG, South Korea, the story of how South Korea grew into a short track speed skating dynamo begins in 1992, at an Olympic starting line, where one of the four skaters in a 1,000-meter race was 90.76 seconds away from sending a nation's sporting aspirations through the roof. Then, short track, as a sport, was in its first year awarding medals. South Korea, as a nation, was in its 44th year of trying to win a gold. What happened that day in Albertville, France, at the Winter Olympics, was both a first and a beginning. A skater named Kim Ki-hoon crossed the finish line, hands raised, clapping, waving. A South Korean national broadcaster kept yelling with joy. "Glorious," he said. A proud moment. Kim took a lap with a Korean flag. And for South Koreans watching at home, a realization was setting in: the infant Olympic sport that had ended a medal drought was also a massive opportunity. "I remember that day," said Lee Sun-jae, who was 10 at the time, and would make the national team as a teenager while modeling his autograph to look like Kim's. "This became my target. Not to be better than my friends. To be champion. My role model was an Olympic champion." In the years since, South Korea has turned itself into arguably the world's top short-track power, a rise that both defines the sport and explains the country's hopes in the upcoming PyeongChang Olympics. Since Kim's victory, South Korea has won another 20 short-track gold medals, while winning just 5 in other Winter Olympics sports. The country meantime has formed itself into the preeminent factory for short-track coaches, exporting them across the world, including to the U.S., where several elite youth speed skating clubs maintain websites in Korean. Get the post-coverage of the PyeongChang Olympics delivered to your inbox. Almost everyone in the sport has a theory on South Korea's rise, with explanations ranging from body type, short track favors shorter athletes, to government spending. But most Koreans say the rise is also partly explained by when the sport caught on, with Kim winning gold during a moment of democratization and breakneck economic growth. Just as families had more money to spend, the sport became an outlet for the country's runaway ambitions. This was the way to win a gold medal. "Everybody wanted to do short track," said Chun Jae-soo, a South Korean who now helps to coach the Hungarian national team. "But it started with strong training. Go hard, go hard, go hard. A relentless national infrastructure was built, and not without downsides. Clubs formed for elementary school students, who ran laps, learned techniques, performed repetitive drills. Olympians were hatched. Stars were born. Stars won medals. Stars retired. Stars started offering private tutoring to children for as much as $30,000 per year. If you watch the little kids here, their speed is amazing." Jae Sung-yeol, a former South Korean long rack speed skater who works as a commentator for SBS, a national broadcaster. But their coaches are all former Olympians. At this year's Olympics, teams from Great Britain, Hungary and Singapore are all coached by Koreans. One of the U.S. skaters, Thomas Hong, spent summers training under Korean coaches. "A key thing is that niche sports like speed skating are taken a little more seriously in Korea," Hong said. "There's not really like a pro market, not a dominating pro market like basketball and football in the States. So the pipeline and the pool of talent is huge. They train younger skaters, even as young at 6 years old. They're spending the entire day at the rink every month. That's a little different. There's a little more dedication to it." Today, South Koreans or South Korean relay teams hold 4 of the 8 most prominent world records. 2 of the current national team's women's skaters, Shim Suk-hee and Choi Minutes-jeng, and one of their men's skaters, Hwang Dae-hyun, are favored to win medals. However, as Korea has established itself in the sport, a new national debate has emerged about the downsides of an at-all-costs approach. That debate rose in prominence last month, when Shim, who won 3 medals in Sochi in 2014, briefly left the national team after allegedly being assaulted by her coach. The coach was given a lifetime ban, according to South Korean media reports. But Shim has said almost nothing specific publicly about what she endured. "It was a hard time, but I'm just trying to focus on the Olympics," Shim said Thursday, after a light 45-minute practice. "I don't want to regret anything. Just enjoy." When asked what she thought about South Korean coaching methods, a press official stepped in. "That kind of question we aren't taking at all," he said. How to watch short track speed skating at the 2018 Winter Olympics in PyeongChang. The most high-profile case of abuse emerged in 2004, when 6 of 8 members of the women's national team briefly abandoned their training, testifying to the Korea Skating Union that their treatment drove them to break down. "Our bodies were covered with bruises because I was beaten up with ice hockey sticks," one player testified. "It's like a mindset from a long time ago." GANGNEUNG, a national team skater from 2006 to 2009, and the world record holder in the women's 3,000 meter, said in an interview. Education through violence. Some South Korean-born coaches and media analysts, like Jae-gal, say militaristic training methods are on the decline, and that coaches have adapted a more relaxed style. At a short-track arena in GANGNEUNG, a coastal city here, several South Korean-born coaches, including Lee Sun-jae, of Great Britain, ran mostly quiet practices this week as assistants standing just off the ice used laptops and filmed techniques. One level above the ice, in the same arena, Young was recounting her own training experiences, the good and bad, with the help of a young South Korean Olympics volunteer, who was translating into English. Then Young paused, and the translator spoke up. "We are such a small country," the translator said, holding up her pinky finger. "But we're doing all this." Young nodded. "I am proud," Young said. Read more coverage. U.S. speed skaters work with Under Armour to redesign suits for 2018 Olympics after a losing coin toss. Speed skater Shani Davis rips U.S. Olympic flag bearer selection. Will the addition of lyrics have Olympic figure skating judges singing along? Barry Svrluga, as Olympics near, how can we still not know the size or shape of the Russian